Hello, hello. I left my tea over on the counter. Right back. Back again. All right. I'm broadcasting to both TikTok and YouTube. So, where's the share? Where is the share? Hello. Oh, I think I forgot who I was at. Oopsies. Oh, no, I remember now. I remember. Yay. Sorry, just sharing it to TikTok. Okay. One more. Hello, Christopher. How are you? Oops. That's what my son's name is. I love that name. Yeah. All the sharing's done. All the sharing's done. All right. I wonder if my tea's too hot. Hello, hello. Oh, that is very hot. Very hot. Too hot to drink. Way too hot to drink. Hello, hello. Love everyone. Good name. I'm gonna light my candle. Hello, Emmy. These particular matches are fantastic. Fantastic. The Redbirds. I mean, these things have been in storage for so long, and yet they still work exceptionally well. Oh, I totally put it out on myself. That was hilarious. Hi, man. Hello, hello. How are you? Where in the world do you live? Hi, Kelly. Almost had to blow the candle out. That was catching. There we go. There we go. It's a good day to have a good day is what the candle says. It's a citrine candle. Good afternoon. It's a hot one. Hey, Teresa. Whereabouts are you? You should connect with me. Like, not for anything for sales, but just to have a clarity, like just to have a call, just to sit and chat. Just to sit and chat. But you can book that as a clarity call just because that makes it easy. Then we get a Zoom link and we can just get together and chat. Because I'd love to know about your journey. I really would. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Yes. Beautiful. I'll keep it secret. I won't tell anyone where you're from. So I've had quite the adventures this weekend. I like to talk about all the different things that I've done, kind of as the first part of the episode. And when you're here, it's about learning, it's about ascension, right? I'm here to teach you how the ascension pathway. And so I talk about all things related to ascension. And a big part of that is the truth, which is why I have my sister channel, which is 1 with the number 1. Truth Sets You Free. And I put out episodes on that channel, which I did not get put up this week yet. That'll be a late episode because I had a thunderstorm and no power. And so anyway, it's something that I'm speaking now and remembering I have to do. To be fair, I'm going to write this down so we don't forget. Sorry, I have to. Luckily, I just have to post. I have to put it together and post it. Like it's recorded. It's just the. There, I have written myself a note. So now I might remember to do that, which is good. Okay. What all kinds of things happened? I made my very own natural, 100% natural bug spray, which is fantastic. I tested it with mosquitoes this morning and it was phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to that, which is exciting. And every part of it, I pretty much did. I mean, I didn't make the witch hazel or the essential oils that I used in it. But I did go and forage cedar, pine, motherwort, and bee balm, which is also wild bergamot. So I went and collected those herbs from the natural space around my yard. And I made a kind of sort of distiller, and which was challenging because I don't have a very big pot. I'm in the place that I'm in. So you elevate the pot, like the collection bowl or pot that you're going to collect the hydrosol in. So this is how you would make hydrosol. So you have it sitting in the center of the pot and a little bit elevated off the pot. So you can put a stone in it or something like that to elevate it off the pot. And you lay your herbs all around the outside of that. And then you pour in distilled or at least filtered water. So I have really good water here. So I'm able to do a lot of things just with my tap water. So you pour it in and then you don't want it to boil. You just want it to get hot and steamy. And the steam will go up, and you put the lid on upside down. So the lid where the handle is actually what dips down. So all the water will steam up, the evaporated water will steam up to the top of the pot, and then it'll travel down the pot and get collected inside the little jar or bowl that you put in the center of the pot. So that's essentially what I did to distill it or to collect the hydrosol is what it's called. So again, as the water is heating and those herbs are sitting in that pot, that evaporates like through the steam, which gets collected on the pot, and that's what you're collecting in the bowl. So it's pretty cool. So that was a big part of the ingredients for it. Also witch hazel, but distilled witch hazel, not alcohol witch hazel. You don't want the alcohol in it. So a distilled version of witch hazel is another part of that. And then there's a bunch of herbs or a bunch of essential oils, that you add to it. Things like tea tree oil, to put in some jojoba oil so that you can have it as a carrier. So there's all these different things to do. So I made this beautiful all natural bug spray, and I'm quite happy with it. But someday I'm going to have an apothecary, and you'll be able to purchase type things like that, shampoos and conditioners and stuff like that. Someday soon. Someday soon. So I also today I've seen so many animals in the area. I have seen everything from bunnies and foxes and a hawk. I've seen a porcupine and raccoon and coyotes and all kinds of things. But today I was gifted this beautiful turkey tail feather. So this was just on my pathway. And for those of you that don't know, turkeys represent a variety of things. They represent being grateful. Think about their use in Thanksgiving. They represent abundance. They represent, because again, the bigger the turkey, the more abundance you have, right? To be able to have that large, there's the sacredness that's with the turkeys as well, in that they are a ground bird that can also fly. So it's like walking between the seen and the unseen, which is a really cool message. So this really is a message that abundance and prosperity is on its way. And it's a message that you are seen by all sides. Like you're seen by the people, like your audience in my case, and also seen by the ancestors and the elementals, because you're walking within those spaces. And that's something that I actually do. I am living an embodied life where I am connected to Mother Gaia and I'm connected to the nature that's around. And that's how we're all meant to live. We're meant to recognize that that is sentience, and that Mother Gaia is more than just a rock that has, grass and plants and whatever. And we live on it and build on it and do whatever we want on it. Like that's not the way that she is meant to be revered, because she's sacred. Right. So we have to remember to treat her like such. If we did so, then we would start at the top down. So we'd have a lot of things like free, clean energy, and we'd have, not all the distortions and all the lies and all the manipulation and all the stuff that's being done to us to keep us confused, to keep us in fear, to keep us divided, to keep us controllable, really. So I should probably say this is for entertainment purposes only, or educational purposes. You take it however it lands for you. We know how the algorithm is. we know how that goes. So we're just going to say this is for entertainment. Yep, that tea is still really, really hot. So what I like to do is teach about the ascension pathway, and from the space of non-distorted, non-manipulated truths. And I like to also make you aware of where the lies and distortions and loops are, so that you can free yourself from those traps. The current incarnation pathway that we go and we meet, and have basically a life review, and then we determine what karma we carry from this lifetime forward into the next lifetime, and we reincarnate. That's a loop. That's not the truth of how it's meant to go. So talking about stuff like that, which is really important information for you to hear, right? So that's the type of stuff that I'm teaching in Anshara'El, Pathway of Ascension. And I do hope that you stick around and hear what we're going to talk about today. I also do embodiment stuff, because the biggest thing that we need to really grasp is that in order to affect change, we have to bring it to the physical. We're in the third dimension currently, and even, allowing ourselves to rise, we're not going to lose our physical. Like, we're not going to ascend out of our body, right? The whole thing about ascension is bringing earth and the physical to a higher dimension, right? It's about incorporating it within, and we're multidimensional already. Many of us have, our consciousness is in the, in the fifth dimension. And, many times when we're doing spiritual work, we're sitting in the fifth dimension. Maybe our knowledge base and, the awareness of what lies and distortions make us in the fifth dimension. I have to shut the window. I forgot. The traffic is really loud here, and we don't need to compete with that level of noise. that level of noise. I'm gonna have a drink and then maybe I'll remember where I was. So the way we affect change is through embodiment. I'm gonna drink one that I got a tickle in my throat from that. I apologize. Structured water. That's why it looks a bit cloudy. Apparently I've done a lot of talking today. And I have. Embodiment. I don't know where I was. I'm going to look over the notes for what we're going to cover today. And we are talking about the episode is called The Voice of the Living Flame. So I like to get you to do embodiment practices. Like to give you education or information, knowledge. And then I also like to give you practices to embody what you're hearing. And that's how we make it real, right? We have to live it to have it become the reality. The more people that wake up to the illusion that we're living and just decide to walk away from it, that's how the system collapses. It collapses by our non-participation, our non-awareness within that system, right? When we turn away from it. If everybody just stopped paying their taxes, if everybody just stopped going to work, if everybody just there's nothing that the world could do if we just refuse, right? There's really nothing that if it just has to be on a global level. Entertainment purposes, remember. Okay, so we're going to talk about the current energies and cosmic alignments before we get into talking about the voice of the living flame. So the current energies, as we enter the final glow of the full moon in true Sagittarius, the fire of divine truth continues to burn through illusion. Remember last week we were talking about the bow of truth, and it was about how we were going to stop being able to lie to ourselves, or the ways that we've been lying to ourselves might become more apparent, or we're going to see the truth of situations. And we want the truth, right? It is the truth that sets you free. It absolutely is. And it only takes one, just one for you to go, oh my God, and then start to look at the other stuff. And it's through that remembering, the remembering of the truth, and then the embodiment of it that brings the new earth to this earth, right? That's how we seed it. So the Archer's Arrow, which was released, or the full moon happened on July 10th. Now its arcs is across the sky, right? It's igniting remembrance. It's calling us deeper into alignment with our soul's message. So the moment is saturated with ether and fire, because across from Sagittarius is Gemini. So there's that polarity that exists there, like ether and fire, both refined and primal. They're both masculine signs, right? So Venus was conjunct in Regulus, which it brings a radiant heart, wisdom, and leadership rooted in divine truth, not ego. And Pluto retrograde in Capricorn exposes hidden structures, which we want. We want those hidden structures to be brought to light, where the voice has been suppressed, distorted, or commodified. And the sun is approaching true sidereal in Cancer, which is urging inner integrity, vocal alignment, and emotional truth. So in true sidereal, Cancer season starts on July 17th. So we're on the 15th right now. So we're 2 days away from Cancer season, according to true sidereal. And I don't do tropical astrology anymore. And I think that when you start to really study something like astrology, if you've studied it for a while, I think that you're going to find your resonance with tropical starts to fade away, because it's really hard to look at a system that just is seasonal, is what it is. So every March 20th, whether or not the sun is rising in Pisces or not, like every March 20th, whether it's turning to Aries season or not, it's Aries season according to tropical. True sidereal looks at the actual placement of the planets in the night sky. So where is the planet really right now? Is it truly in Gemini? Is it truly in Sagittarius, right? If that was the signs that we're looking at. And right now it wouldn't say those signs, right? That's the true sidereal. Hi, Lindsay. How are you, love? Nice to see you. Been a little bit. So that's our planetary alignment information, right? So what we're dealing with energetically. So the frequencies are raw. The flame is awake. This is a call to return your living voice, not as performance, but as prophecy, right? And prophecy is speaking the truth. That's all prophecy is. It's not about guessing or about seeing the future. It's about embodying the truth in the moment now, and then you're assured of the future that is going to unveil before you because you are being that now. So today we're talking about I am the flame that speaks, or the voice of the living flame. There is a voice within you that does not echo the world. It ignites it. This is the voice of the living flame, the breath of divine truth rising through the sacred furnace of your being. The soul is not silent. It speaks in fire. I like that. I'm going to have to put that on a post. The soul is not silent. It speaks in fire. In lifetimes past, your voice may have been burned, bound, or buried beneath layers of doubt, fear, or collective conditioning, but no longer. No more. No more. We're done with it. The fire is returning to the temple. Today, we remember that sound is not just heard, it is felt. And every sound you release, when forged in love and aligned with truth, becomes a frequency of liberation. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Love you, sweetheart. Love you, sweetheart. That really got my throat going. Hi, Linda. My tea is starting to get to the point where I can drink it. That was hot. Like I felt that one go down. That was a little too hot to drink. Yes. around, absolute yes. I plan to call you. Absolutely. No. You need to book a call with me, Nikki. The call is free. Seriously, book a call with me. Honestly, for real. Absolutely. 100%. Book a free call with me. 3 people right now need to book a free call with me. You really do. You really do. Okay. 222. That's unity, right? Remember that we are all one, right? 111, right? We are all one. And then then we become unity, right? Or polarity. It's not polarity the way that we see polarity. That's where there's so many inversions and manipulations and distortions that have been created within the realm that we live in. And what they're famous for doing is giving you truth with a whole bunch of lies, right? And they're also really good at psychological warfare. Like they're really good at programming, right? So when you're watching something and it keeps, so it'll do things like you're watching horror movies, right? So then you become acceptant of these things that you're seeing in horror movies or these things that are happening. They tell you that people or humans are animals and we're heathens. We've never been animals. We have never been animals. We are not likened to animals. The only thing we share with animals is that we are physical and that we are sentient. But we're not, animals don't have our level of consciousness, right? Like they don't. So how can we look at what animals are doing as an example of how we should be behaving? And to go to that theory, if we looked at animals, we'd probably find a lot of animals are treating their kin way better than we do ours. I mean, at least they don't charge them rent and make them pay for the necessities of life, right? At least they didn't establish a monetary system. At least they didn't just establish such a hierarchy within their systems that there's actually suppressed animals within their tribes, right? Like if we're gonna say we're like animals, then let's actually like adopt like this stuff about animals that, you know, are there. And if we're not going to say that, and if it doesn't make sense for us to say that, because when you think about some of the things that animals do, I mean, I'm not going up to anybody and sniffing their bum to say hello. I'm just not doing that. I'm just not. Right? Saying, so I'll just check in on the energy as I'm coming up and determine, you know, how I'm going to interact with that individual, but I ain't doing that. Right? Some animals eat their young. I'm not doing that either. I'm not. No, thank you. Not my idea of a good time. Right? So it's either you do or you don't, but we cherry pick, right? So good afternoon, love. How are you? Love to everybody. All right, let's try to get back on track. Which is okay. Free flowing is exactly right. We are different. Like I put a post up on TikTok, and I didn't share it to the other channels, but I put a post up on TikTok because there was this relationship expert that was on this podcast of a CEO or something like that. And she's like, I'm a relationship expert, because she's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or she's been in the industry, right? Like, no offense, she's got matrix skills for sure, right? But you're only as good as the information you're learning. And if your information's wrong at the source, then you're not knowledgeable. You're just spreading falsities, right? Like, just, it's a truth. Hello, how are you, love? And hi, Craig, saw you coming in. Make sure you're giving likes, because it's not me, it's the algorithm. You need to be giving likes. You need to be commenting. You need to be sharing. Gifting is also welcomed in the algorithms. So as the algorithms, and also as an energetic exchange. You know, we talk about this all the time. We talk about how, you know, we want to move to the system of like this energetic exchange, right? We want to go into this space where, you know, we're giving energy in a reciprocating nature for the energy that we're receiving. And yet we are the ones that have to embody that. We have to be the ones to determine and say, no, this is what's worth paying for. I don't think I need to pay for Netflix anymore, as an example. Right. And I'm just giving an example, right? Or maybe instead of going to Starbucks every morning, I would be better off investing that money in something for my soul, right? We're the ones that determine what energy we're investing in. And that's what we came down here to do. We came down here to see what was wrong, to see what was false, and to say, we're not going to live like that anymore. We know what the truth is. We know how we're meant to live. We know that we're meant to live in communities. We know that we're meant to, you know, do an energetic exchange when we receive something that we're meant to give. That's something that's been around forever, right? It's an energy exchange. And that doesn't mean that the energy is a direct exchange, right? Maybe, you know, something that I give for you means that you give a blessing to me, or I give to you and you give a testimonial to me. But it's not always that it's monetary. There's many ways that we can share in an energy exchange, right? So like on TikTok, it's, or whatever, on TikTok, it's tap, 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 right? That's one way that we do the energetic exchange, to be fair. So that type of thing. There just has to be that reciprocity. And if not, then we're the ones that are putting ourselves in these energetic spaces that aren't good. And if we're not careful, because we don't know what the other person's doing with their boundaries, but if we are doing that with somebody and they're not really good with their boundaries, then we're affecting them as well. And we could be tying them up in karmic ties or things like that, which is why I had to move out of the space that I was in, because I was being far too generous and doing everything for free. So that's why if someone comes in and says, can I get a free, you know, message or something like that, I'm like, no, but you can find that on my website and it's reasonable. Everything that I do is priced reasonably. So, you know, those are, it's an energetic exchange. There's different ways that we can do it. I've released 2 courses recently. One course that I've released is called the Bridge to Light Phase 2. And the other course that I've released is called the Christic Elemental Harmonics Restoration System. So these are definitely targeted at different things. Bridge to Light phase 2 is about living an embodied life. And so phase 1 was about reclaiming your sovereignty, and phase 2 is about living embodied. And it's available now on the website for registration. Early bird registration has a really great discount going on for it. So and it has bonuses. And one of the bonuses that you get with the Bridge to Light phase 2 when you enroll is you immediately get entrance into Bridge to Light phase 1. So you get the phase 1, which that was an $888 value that you're getting for just free because of being an early bird. So early bird closes at the end of this month. So just putting that out there for anyone that wants to do that. And there's other stuff that you get with it as well, but that's the biggest thing to mention. So if you're really serious about your ascension, then this would be the course that I would suggest for you to start looking at living an embodied life. Hello, love. How are you? So there's that one. The Christic Elemental Harmonic Restoration System. I know it's a mouthful, but that's because it's speaking to what it is. So I channeled this healing, and it uses the elementals and it uses harmonics as a way to restore your system to its natural or its Christic design. So its original divine blueprint. And it's working with the elements to do so. So this education, this healing modality, there we go. This healing modality is, when going from the one to the other, it's a little bit easy to get get tangled up. So it's a healing modality that is beautiful, and it does have some bonuses with it as well. One of the bonuses that it has is that you get entrance into the Christic Mastery Circle, which also means that you get access into the Guardian Pathway and the Ascension Gateway, because the Christic Mastery Circle is the top tier of those three groups. And part of being in the Christic Mastery Circle is that you get admission into the lower two groups that are there as well. So there's a lot of bonuses that go with that. But the other thing that's there is there's the opportunity for scholarships. And scholarships at Anshara'El work out differently. In Anshara'El, it's a matter of you talk about what you're affording or what and how you will meet the energetic requirements, right? So how can we transfer this energetically? And it could be, and this is a crazy thing, but I'm just going to say it because somebody might be that person, right? Let's say you're somebody that's like a master at making cool YouTube videos, and you think that you would be able to, or you're good at doing YouTube things, and you'd be able to repurpose my lives and create videos with that live. That would be a trade of services, and that's a service that would be really valuable to me, right? So if it's something like that where there's a trade of service that could be offered, or a testimonial, or there's stuff like that. So there's other ways that an energetic exchange can occur. So that is what the scholarship is about. It's not about necessarily getting it for free. It's about getting it for an exchange of energy that is in alignment for both of us. And whatever that looks like is, between both of us. So that's what the scholarship program is. So those two courses are open and available now on the website for early bird enrollment, with the gifts that they get as the early bird packages. And there's also more information, way more information about what's entailed or covered in those. But I don't want to give any more time to that because I'm here to talk about what we were talking about. And hey, you, how are you? How are you doing, chickadee? I have a sip of tea too, because my throat finally got to the point where it's feeling normal. Just about. So yeah, so there's lots going on at Anshara'El. Go check out the stuff there. We're going to keep talking about what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the voice of the living flame. So the core teachings that we're covering, number 1, the living flame versus the performed voice. So the performed voice seeks validation, praise, and approval. It is shaped by outer expectations and avoids confrontation. It bends to fit into rooms, even if those rooms dishonor the soul. It often mimics, imitates, or adapts in order to be accepted. Does that sound familiar to anybody's verbal communication? I have been there before. I have definitely been there before. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have avoided saying something because I did not want confrontation. I have shrunken to fit into certain rooms. I have done so many different things. Hey, sweetie, how are you doing? The living flame, however, does not perform. It reveals. It is the voice of the Oversoul moving through a purified channel. It may shake, it may surprise, but it will always liberate. It is the frequency that catalyzes, so I was going to say calibrates, but same thing, catalyzes the truth, whether welcomed or resisted. So your frequency, the frequency that you're speaking, resonating at the level of truth, divine truth, is very piercing, right? Some people welcome it, some people reject it. So you're going to have people that are going to not be able to handle your presence, and they're going to leave. They're going to leave. Some, it might be people you've known for years, but for some, it'll be people that come in will just immediately be like, or you'll have somebody, reactionary around you. And that's because you're irritating the things that they know are wrong. You ring a bell so clear in the truth that it has no choice but to disrupt the distortion that lives within them. But maybe they're not ready or not at the point where they can handle what the truth is revealing for them. So that's when they become reactionary, right? Because they haven't managed their emotions, or they haven't worked on that particular spot yet. So it is the frequency that catalyzes the truth, whether welcomed or resisted. And the voice is unedited by fear and untouched by egoic manipulation. So you're speaking just the truth, just the truth. It's piercing, absolutely piercing. You are going to do that a lot less. So repeat that statement, and instead of ... say, yeah, I do that a lot less. Almost never. Now. And there you've spoken a decree. Yeah, I do that a lot less. Almost never. Now. Now. It's powerful. All right. The throat as a temple. Most people treat the throat as a tool, a mechanism for sound. But in divine reality, your throat is an altar. When you speak without reverence, the power leaks. When you speak from sacred embodiment, it becomes a portal of divine creation. Every sound is a spell. Every word is a wand. What are you conjuring? Right? What are you speaking into existence? Are you talking about your problems, or are you talking about your blessings? Are you talking about the stuff that is terrible in the world, or are you talking about the change? Are you talking about the new life that we want to have? What are you talking about? What are you sharing into the world? What resonance, what frequency, what words? What are you spelling on Mother Earth? Ooh, that tingled me. Ooh, I like that. Mother Earth liked that. That's why that tingled. Right? Because it's true. How many of us speak so poorly about such a beautiful sentient being that is blessing us with all of this life, including the ability for ourselves to live? What sacred reverence do we hold Mother Earth with? Yeah, you do. You do, Lindsay. You absolutely do. Right? And thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. Um, like it's powerful. It's powerful what we're doing. When you speak the truth, what it does to the environment around you. Like when you think about water as consciousness, as living, like as a living consciousness, water is in everything. Water's in the air, right? There's no space within the environment that we're in that water isn't touching, right? It's incredible, right? It's incredible. Oh my God, I have a mosquito bite on my arm. I'm so glad I made that insect repellent. I have so many bites, man. The mosquitoes around here are insane, but that's because there's a node down there that I'm working on healing it frequency wise. So there's a lot of like attacks coming from that node, and the attacks are parasitic, like mosquitoes and ticks and deer flies. Deer flies are horrible this year. They're absolutely. Let's change that. They're no longer. Deer fly season is over. Deer fly season is over. I now declare that deer fly season is over. They're done. They're done for the year. They're just done. Right? Just wow. Wow, 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 wow. So many since I've moved here, just under attack constantly by when you're outside. And I'm like, this sucks. I love the beautiful weather, but I can't be out there because there's so many mosquitoes or there's deer fly or there's whatever. So I'm spending more time inside than I would like. So the voice, right? They've been bad this year. I feel like there's like a lot more. High weapon Gen X. So the voice creates architecture in the field, right? What is spoken from the altar of your throat becomes encoded, right? It becomes encoded into your external word. To misuse speech is to scatter power. To honor speech is to build worlds of light, right? It's very powerful, right? We've heard this from other people talking about your like speaking spells. And this isn't in some witchy kind of way. This is about your voice's frequency. That frequency is going out into the field and it is resonating what you are sending out there back to you. So if you're sitting there talking about all the crap that's going on, if you're gossiping and you're, talking about negative stuff all the time and you're trashing and tearing, like if you're focusing on all the stuff that's wrong, then you're going to be seeing more of that in your world, right? How dare they? How dare they keep us from our sunsets? I know what you mean. I like walk up the road just like bat, 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 fat, fat. But this new homemade, oh my God, I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about it. I had none on me this morning. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited to go on my night walk and see how well it works. You'll get a full report on Thursday. You get a full report on Thursday. Okay, so divine fire as the purifier of the throat or of the voice or the throat, right? The voice. So the fire of truth is not harsh. It is precise. It burns away the unnecessary, leaving only clarity. This is not about yelling or demanding. It's about frequency, integrity. Before speaking, pause and ask, does this come from love? And is my attention aligned with truth or ego? Because if it's aligned with ego, you shouldn't be saying it. It's a big one. Let your voice carry the vibration of purified purpose, right? Then every word becomes an act of divine service. Everything that you say, you're speaking your life into existence every moment. And if you're thinking in that terms, if you're always talking about the beautiful things in your life, like talking about going on a walk and receiving this beautiful turkey feather, right? This beautiful turkey tail feather right on my pathway, which speaks of abundance and prosperity coming in, new beginnings. It talks about being accepted by the seen and the unseen and walking that bridge. And, I'm here launching Bridge to Light today, and the CARES, which is what I short form with KEHRS. So KEHRS is CARES. When I say it with, so if you're wondering what I'm saying there, right? Just being in the moment and experiencing what is going on in our environment, listening to the world around you, seeing the world around you. I can't get over how many animals I have seen, coyotes and, porcupines and raccoons and, well, obviously squirrels and hawks and turkeys and, like all kinds of animals that I've seen in the time that I've been here. And I was seeing quite a few down when I was living where my mom was. I saw a lot there as well. So you let your voice carry the vibration of purified purpose, then every word becomes an act of divine service. So fire purifies the destiny clinging to the density that's clinging to the voice, right? And the fear of being misunderstood, the desire to please, the residue of ancestral silencing, like it does a lot for you. And so when we call on the divine fire to move through us, we offer the voice as a holy instrument. And that's just about talking the truth. That's about standing resolute in your truth. And it's going to irritate some people, but that's what we're going to do. And that's okay. So let it ring true. And that's how we create the new world. If you're like, you have to be serious about it. If you identify as someone that's a chosen one or a light worker or any of that stuff, like if you identify as those things, then why aren't you doing it right now? Why aren't you embodying what you came here to embody? Do you think you have countless years left in which you can just do whatever you want before becoming embodied? Do you think you have, like, does it feel like the world's giving us like does it seem like we've got that? I mean, I hope that it does, because maybe you're actually embodied and it feels like you're headed down on the new earth path. But, if you're not feeling that new earth, knowing that you're living in the vibration and the frequency of it, right? Then you're participating in the falsity. You're participating in the lie. And that's what we have to do. We have to stop participating in the lie. Right? And it's up to each and every one of us. The more of us that do it, the sooner that the charade goes away and we start living the way that we want to live. We do it by each one of us living it now. And as more and more of us live it, then we eventually are living it. It's just like that. Sounds silly, but that's it. Okay, so in ancient, the voice, 4, is the return of the word as flame. So in ancient temples, sacred utterances were used not to communicate, but to create. These weren't just words. They were living frequencies encoded with memory, power, and intention. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Your voice, when aligned with the Oversoul, can awaken timelines, restore remembrance, and unlock inner temples. It opens up more of your remembering. It aligns you with more of who you truly are. And it empowers you to become more and more embodied. Absolutely. It does so much. I'm doing quite well. So the word, nope, my throat's dry. I'm like, nope. Apparently, it was my way of getting some more tea, because my tea is getting past the point of like that really good hot, and it's dipping into the and some teas aren't tasty when they're cold. Most teas, there's a couple that I've found that maybe like the fruity teas might be okay when they get cooler, or if you mix them with other things. But a straight black tea or green tea, So this is just my way of getting more warm tea. So the word becomes the bridge, the breath becomes the spark, and the voice becomes the flame. To speak from this space is to participate in the architecture of light. You become a channel, not for opinion, but for alignment, not for reaction, but for recalibration, right? That's a way better, way stronger, more powerful way of communicating, right? Way better, way better, way better. I love my embodied life. It started off slowly, for sure. But the more embodied I come, the more I love living the way that we're supposed to. I love walking and listening to the trees and the wind and Mother Gaia and looking, and seeing the animals and interacting with them. I love making holistic things from home, from fresh, from scratch. I make wicked tortillas. I make really good tahina. I make really great sauerkraut and other fermented things. That's what's in here is a fermented lemon juice with fresh strawberries and mint in it. And it's just, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you just have to, it's just making the decision to live that way. You just have to decide that that's just how you're going to live and live it. And it's only as hard as we make it. Right. Whatever measures that you can take to move in that direction is the steps that you take, right? If it means eliminating drinking tap water or bottled water, and you spend the money investing in your health, and instead of buying another gaming machine or another TV or another phone or another app, I mean, most of us, I think, buy our phones when our phones just break or stop functioning. But some of us go and buy phones just because the newest one's coming out. But maybe instead of buying those things, you invest in getting yourself the best water, like the water system that you can get for your health, right? So that you're drinking the best water that you can. And if you can't do that, then at least learn techniques in which you can reclaim your water as a living consciousness and realign it with its original blueprint. And, doing those types of things. Make sure you're salting your water, add some lemon to it, a quarter of a lemon or a half of a lemon, depending. I do a quarter lemon and a quarter lime because that really balances out the energy of it, because lemons are known to cause heating in your digestive tract, whereas limes are a more cooling effect to your digestive tract. So eating them combined keeps it in a neutral space is the reason why I do both of them. Speaking intention into your water as a living consciousness, speaking intention into it, stirring it, creating a vortex with it. All of these things are powerful things to do with your water. And, your water is a very powerful part of the equation of living an embodied life, is making sure that you're not touching tap water that's chlorinated and got fluoride in it and all kinds of heavy metals and pharmaceuticals and things like that, right? Like that's the number one thing that you should look at trying to create a healthy supply of in your home. So that would be number one, like a great step to take. Another great step is reducing the processed foods that you have in your life, right? That's going to allow you to live in a more embodied way and live in the way that you're supposed to. So what little things can you eliminate from your life? Right. I was never somebody that drank plant-based milk, and I still don't in my tea. I don't in my tea because the plant milk separates and, you can shake it and, like put it back together. But I still find that I actually have an idea. I'm going to try it in my little milk frother. I have a milk thing that actually froths and heats and heats the milk. You can do it where it just stays cool, which is perfect. I'll just do the cool spin and get it to mix it all up again. And that might help. But because it separates, it's just not something I enjoy in my tea. So I'm just looking to phase milk out of my tea completely and move to more herbal teas that aren't caffeinated anyway. But in the interim, that's the one thing that I do get organic milk for my tea. But if you're somebody that drinks plant-based milk, it's really, really easy to make your own milk and make it healthy, which is a far cry from what's going on in society right now, right? The way that the way that almond milk or oat milk or any of those milks are created, they're so processed. Most times the oats or the almonds are grown in, very heavily pesticide fields, right? So they're not like they're organic almonds or anything like that anyway. So you're getting pesticides in your almond or your oat milk, and then you've got all the preservatives that are put in it and stuff like that. So, and sometimes there's flavorings, and those flavorings tend to be artificial, and so on and so forth. So when you're making almond milk, you can make it at home really, really easy. And I've talked about it before, but you can make it really easy. So I'm not going to get into it again. At some point, I'll do a video on it and share that, because it really is easy. And then you have almond milk. You have almond milk that'll last you for 3 days, or oat milk that'll last you for 3 days, or almond milk that'll last you for 4. And it doesn't take you that long to make it. And you can take the pulp that's left behind from the oats or from the almonds, and you can repurpose that into a bunch of different things as well, like crackers, or even grind it down into flour, right? Making flour with it. So it's really cool. I was never like this, though. This is something that's just become more and more and more. And it just starts with those one little changes. Okay. So that's what we need to be speaking in a way that is speaking the beautiful truth of the life and the existence and the way that we want this world to be. We have to be talking about those things. We have to be having conversations with our friends about, how life is going to look when we get there, about people being awakened, about, the way that money systems should be abolished, that we should have a barter system. So when I talk about that scholarship system, that's me speaking into the world about a way that how money is supposed to work, how we can do things on a transaction, like an energetic transaction, right? It's not, and that doesn't mean that everything's transactional. It's not, like love is not transactional, but in this sense here, it's just about that energy, that reciprocity, right? If I'm giving of my energy to educate you, what are you returning to me energetically for receiving that particular gift that you're receiving, right? That's the energy behind it. So we're going to do an invocation. When we do this invocation, it's important for you to speak out loud if possible. But if not, then speak inside your head silently. But if you can, like, again, it's more important to say it out loud if you can. So Oversoul, Oversoul, I remember now. Let the flame rise from my root to my tongue. Let all distortions of my voice be dissolved. Let all fear of truth be transmuted in light. I am the temple. I am the torch. I speak from the heart of the eternal flame. In this moment, I reclaim every sound I once silenced. I ignite the codes that restore divine communication. I speak not to be heard, but to harmonize. My voice is the fire of Christ Sophia awakened. My breath is aligned with the will of Source. So let it be. So let it be. Let it be. So we're going to do our embodiment practices. This is the flame of the throat. So we're going to be doing a variety of different things. We're going to do some breath work and make some noise, because sound is very healing. We're going to speak. We're going to do a few things. So just get prepared. If you're not in a position where you can do that, I started at 3:30, so I'll tag it an hour into the thing is when we started the embodiment practice. So you can always come back to it at that point in time. And the recordings are all on YouTube, right? They get saved on the channel under the live videos section. So you can watch today's there. All right. So the breath of the flame, we're going to inhale deeply through the nose. And we're going to exhale with a... So did you hear how soft that was? It was just really an exhale of a whispered, right? Okay. And as you're doing it, it's like you're fogging a mirror. So as you do that, you're going to visualize this golden flame rising from your root all the way up to your throat. Okay. This beautiful golden flame, and see it burning through any fear of speaking. Feel it, feel it be burned away from every layer of your being, every energetic space within you. Okay. So now continue that breathing, inhaling deeply through the nose, exhaling, seeing the flame rise, burn away those distortions, burn away anything that's prohibiting you from speaking your truth or, allowing yourself to be heard. Let it rise all the way to the crown from the root. Now we're going to hum. So breathe in, and we're going to hum with our lips closed. Let this vibration massage your throat. Place your one hand on your heart and the other on your throat as you're doing this. And invite that vibration to dissolve all the old patterns of your speech, where we silenced ourselves because of confrontation or fear of being seen as an outcast or humiliated or name called or belittled, or whatever the thing is that is preventing you from speaking that truth. Do it again. Okay, now we're going to speak our decree. Okay. I speak with the fire of truth. Sorry, we're going to put your hand back up there. Sorry, I forgot because I'm demonstrating. All right. I speak with the fire of truth. I am the voice of divine remembrance. And now you're going to sit in silence for 1 minute. Okay, so I'll keep track. Okay, I think I gave it a little extra just in case because I didn't know where we hopped in at the 4:33 and it's now 4:34. I feel like we're halfway through it changing, but you can sit in silence longer if you'd like. Silence is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to continue with our practice. So now we're going to chant a vowel. Okay, so when we're chanting a vowel, and we're just going to do this for 1 minute, you can pick whatever vowel you want. You can chant ah, you can chant e, you can chant o, you can chant whatever you want. Whatever you want. You know the vowel sounds. I don't need to go through them. And you can alternate as well. And I actually encourage you to alternate between the vowels and see how it lands. Does it land? Where's the quality of the sound? Where does it fit within there, and just let the silence refine and the sound recalibrate. So sitting in silence, but while chanting. Okay. So for 1 minute. All right. We're at 4:35. I'll try to keep my eyes open this time and see when it turns 4:36. So I know how much time we spent there. So I know how much is a minute. All right. Ready? Inhale. Perfect. Let that resonate in your field. Let it recalibrate. So there's mirror practice, and this is for you to do afterwards. But if you go into the mirror and look in your eyes, and you're going to declare one truth that you've been afraid to speak. Let your eyes meet your own eyes and affirm, I honor the fire that I am. Okay, so it's about honoring your own truth in your own, like look in the eye and I'm telling this truth. You know, I've been afraid to say this out loud and I'm going to say it, at least to myself. So it is voiced out into the ether, right? I've spoken it. Your voice is the flame. Use it, right? You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I got some questions and answers for you, and then we'll go through a little bit of more stuff, and then we can chat for a bit. Because you just have to bring something for me to chit chat about, and I can chit chat, and we'll see how much time we can hang out together. But you also have to give that has to be that energetic exchange, right? I've been on here for an hour and a bit, and so yeah, and done quite awesome things with the practical stuff and the education and the knowledge that I've been giving you. And I appreciate what I've received. For those of you that have gifted me, thank you very, very much. I do really appreciate you. No matter how small it is, right? Everything mounts up. Okay. So thank you. That's who I was speaking to. Exactly, Bruce. Exactly who I was speaking to. Thank you as well. Everybody that's here, you guys are fantastic. All right. So our questions and answers. Living flame voice. Good. Living flame voice integration. So some of the questions, right? So how do I know if I'm speaking from my ego or my oversoul? Right? So if your words arise from that deep stillness, clarity, and purpose, even if they challenge comfort, they're likely oversoul guided. If you feel pressured to perform, defend, or prove something, right, then pause and reconnect with your breath and see where the misalignment's coming from. Remember, anything that is in truth is not going to ensnare somebody. It's not going to create a repeated cycle. It's not going to tie somebody up in a loop of any way, shape, or form. When you're speaking to speak the truth, and it's coming from, like, this is how I am. I'm speaking the truth and I'm coming from a clear space, right? Yeah, exactly. When you think about things like that, like no matter what it is, like so many people use marijuana or other stuff, right? And it's about using it sacredly. It's not about quitting it. And it's about, if you're using it, do so non-judgmentally, because you shouldn't be judging, like criticizing or judging yourself. Understand the reasons, why am I using it? So you're at least using it from a space of awareness, right? So you have awareness on it. Look at your herb and think of it sacredly, right? And then that's the thing. We shouldn't be smoking every day, all day long. Like that's not really holding that plant in a sacred way. So that's where, and it has a purpose, right? And we can engage with the spirit of the plant and bypass smoking it altogether, right? If we live in an, if we actually attempt, if we actually do that, if we actually do the practices. So you're just reconnect, and is this from my ego? And if it feels really, settled within your bones, then it's coming from, if it feels really balanced and really and saying it, you're not saying it because you want more likes, right? You're not saying it for other purposes. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I do the same thing. Like and so no judgment here. I think about it. I got gifted a lot of it, like, so that I have an abundance of it, and I didn't have to pay for it. It was just given to me. So I think about not doing it, but it's harder for me to say not to do it because I have it. So, I, where do you live? Maybe I'll send you some. I don't know if I can do that legally. I really don't. But it's one of those things where that actually, oh, nice. I used to live out there, but I'm in Ontario now. It's a little bit far. So, it's more about it's awareness, right? And embodiment, right? And embodiment for sure. So what if I feel scared to speak my truth? And a lot of people are very scared to speak their truth, right? Well, that's because it's natural. It's natural to feel that. A lot of times the fear that we have is ancestral or it's collective, right? We've been sold a particular belief system, that who are you to speak up? Who are you to be, like it's a 1 in a million chance that you become a star in Hollywood, right? There's all kinds of, things like starving artists. Like there's so many different things that get said, right? And they get said so that we keep trapped and we keep living small. Yep, exactly. It's about being sacred. It's absolutely about being sacred. Oh, the silly thing. But she's sacred. So honoring it as sacred, doing it in awareness and from a non-judgmental space, right? Like that's very, very important, right? And also, yes, it's cultivated, right? Having it cultivated while it's here, it's growing on, it's homegrown, versus purchasing it from a government space. That's entirely different because the frequency is much more distorted. Like, well, it's not necessarily distorted at all when you're growing it from home, unless you're doing something specific. So about being scared to speak your truth, right? Speaking your truth is sacred. So start speaking it in sacred spaces, right? Like I said before, in the embodiment thing, do the mirror work where you go in and you look yourself in the eye and you speak a truth that you want to speak, but you're afraid to. At least speak it to you, right? Yeah, and you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to move away from that energy, right? Yes, the government is in fact doing things. That's a known fact, but your anxiety or your being paranoid and stuff, that does not help you. That does not help you, right? Your sovereignty and you standing firm in your, yeah, I would, if I could find it, I wouldn't buy it from there. I would not, I wouldn't buy it from there. I don't trust buying anything from anything they've got their hands in right now. There's too many things going around, too many things that are being spoken about. right? Aw, see? Dragonflies are beautiful. Such good messages in dragonflies. Yeah, no. And that's the way it should be. That's the way we're supposed to be. Yes, standing firm in Christic light. Exactly. 100%. Right? We did not come here to play around. Buenos dias, Morichi. ¿Cómo está? We didn't come here to live the human life because the human life is the distorted life. We came here to show how we are meant to live the human life by embodying the Christic way. Right? Christ, we are bringing Christ consciousness to earth. Right? Oh, yeah. Well, call it into you. Call it into you. Call it into you, my friend. Say that you're just going to receive an unexpected gift for, for all your needs. All your needs will be met. Yeah. Yeah. Look at, there's a hookup. Spiritual Love says she'll mail it to you. She's in BC. She's over the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. That's hilarious. For me, anyway. So good. I'm glad it was funny for you too. So speak it out loud in sacred spaces, journal it out. The courage builds when you feel the frequency and the presence of your oversoul, right? When you feel the presence of your oversoul standing with you, it's like, now I can speak this. I can speak this because I know I'm not alone. I'm never alone. I've got my oversoul right here with me and I'm protected and I know the truth. So, I mean, I'm just going to speak the truth. I'm just going to speak the truth. So how do I clear distortions from my voice? Using breath, tone, and prayer, which we just did. We did all of those. Affirmations are prayer, right? So you're going to speak the Oversoul invocation regularly. And if you're looking for the Oversoul invocation, you can either watch the live again or, novel idea, go join the free group, the Temple of Light, and check out the companion journal that has the Oversoul invocation and other stuff in it. And I'll go over what the other stuff is in a moment. So chant, hum, and use sacred sound to reset your field. Avoid speaking what feels out of alignment, right? Or disconnected from your heart. Just be like, I'm not going to speak it. Just don't speak it. Don't participate in it. I'm not going to speak that out into the ether anymore. Those things that are not aligned with the life that I want to live. I speak about abundance. I speak about aligned clients. I speak about houses. I speak about paying my rent a year in advance. I speak about living an embodied life. I speak about the herbs and tinctures that I'm creating, like my beautiful, sacred, and completely holistic, bug repellent. I was like, what would I call that? Bug repellent. Sure. Bug repellent. Right. I think about all the fresh foods that I make, like tonight or after I'm done this live, I'm going to feed my dog and then I'm going to wash all up and I'm going to make a sourdough starter. So how do you mean that he's speaking negatively towards you or about life in general, about himself? I messed up the one day. Mine rose super fast one time and I wasn't expecting it. So then it fell. I don't know if you've ever had that. Oh, Sorry, I'm waiting for the message to show up so I can unmute it. There we go. So the individuals that is on TikTok was mentioning about their husband speaking negatively about their marriage. So have you had a conversation with him about what he's saying, about the negative stuff that he's saying about the relationship, and either how it makes you feel, how it poisons the well, like poisons the relationship? Like, have you had a conversation with him about that? Yeah. Like sometimes it's a matter of us just realizing the truth of situations, right? Because if he's not listening to you, then he's not respecting you, which then means why are you allowing it to continue to exist? And I sense at the end of that equation is fear. And it may be fear about, but why, what does he need to pray about? What does he need to pray about for the relationship? Right? He needs to take command. He needs to be the man and leading, right? Right? Like your husband has to take the lead and he has to take control of things. So if he has concerns about the relationship and that's why he speaks poorly of it, then address those concerns with the partner, like an adult, and have opportunity to fix whatever it is, if it's possible. If it's not possible, then both of you have a decision that you need to make, right? Right. And if he doesn't, but at the same time, if he's not showing up as in the way that you need him to show up, then that's also a sign for you that he's not who you need standing beside you, right? And it's not your job to wait for him to heal. You're just slowing your own trajectory, right? We get stuck so much with other people and we're literally carrying stones around, right? Thinking that we have to be tied to this person, thinking that we have to make it work, thinking that, there's some big reason. And sometimes it's children, sometimes it's finances, it's having things like legally tied together that can make it hard, stuff like that. Do you love him? Do you feel valued and seen? Do you think that he's a good father? Is he a good husband? Are your needs met? Do you feel safe in your relationship? Or are you committed to the relationship because you believe that you have to be committed to the relationship because that's a part of your core values and belief system that you acquired somewhere along the way? Both of those things are important, though. Right? Both of those things are important. Your happiness, is extremely important. You know what you should do, Nikki? You should book a soul letter, one of the soul letters from me. And I'll channel you a soul letter because I know your Oversoul has some things to tell you. And you might listen to your Oversoul. And she's not going to tell you what I'm telling you. Then he needs to see somebody. Tell him, get him to contact me. Give him the free call to call me. If he would. I don't know if he would. Right? Even if he just has the free half-hour call, I know that I'll impact him just in that call alone without any money being spent. But there are things that I could probably do for him if he's willing to invest in his health. But he has to be ready. So he has to be able to make at least a free call with me. So the next question is, can the living flame voice be soft? No, that's okay. I'm not a traditional therapist. I don't, you're just going to get the truth. I'm not even a therapist. That's not who I am. I'm an educator. I'm a bunch, I'm a teacher more than anything. And I'm somebody who experienced and healed an enormous amount of her own trauma. I do have a background as a nurse of 20 years and, all kinds of certifications and stuff like that, that would, if I kept my nursing license up to date, would probably qualify me as a therapist to a certain degree. But I'm not a nurse either anymore. I let that go. I am me, and I help people with healing or with moving beyond their trauma and stepping into embodiment and the ascension pathway. So, and I don't do distortions. I don't play with silly games. I don't want him coming to me forever. I want him to heal and move on. And if you're going to somebody who's trying to keep you looped up and that's upselling you to this and upselling you to that and, carrying on with all of that stuff, then they're in some level of false light metrics. Okay, so presence, not projection, is what activates. So can the living voice be soft? Yes, but power doesn't require volume, right? Yeah, I would say that would probably be the lowest kind of level, like a teacher, soul, a spiritual coach, right? A spiritual healer, spiritual coach, and teacher. Those would be more in alignment with what I do, right? Like I have a lot of classes that I teach, and I activate and embody, and I activate people. I do that. Yeah, you can do a call together. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so what happens when I fully what happens when can the living flame voice be soft? Yes, power doesn't require volume. A whisper from the oversoul carries more force than a shout from the ego, right? Like the resonance of your voice in alignment is so powerful. It's so powerful what it does. It shifts timelines, like it does so much. So it's empowering to speak the truth. It's creative to speak the truth. We can form the new world by speaking it into existence, by and having these conversations. You don't have to yell it, you don't have to scream, you just have to speak it into existence, right? So chant, hum, and use sound to reset your field. Speak it in from that aligned space. So presence, not projection, is what activates remembrance. So what happens when I fully embody this voice? So what happens when you become embodied in that space of alignment and you're speaking the divine truth? Your field becomes magnetic. Your presence becomes prophetic. Because remember, prophetic does not mean seeing into the future like, we're looking into our crystal ball like that. Prophetic means speaking the divine truth, right? Speaking the truth into existence. By holding the truth and speaking nothing but the truth, right? So you start to attract those aligned opportunities, the people, the missions, all of it. And not by effort, but by resonance. You become a living oracle. You create your world through your embodiment. Okay, so within the journal, we have the Oversoul Invocation. We have the embodiment practice that's in the free journal. And we also have a mantra, a seal, and 5 journal. No, I think I gave you 6 journal prompts for this one. So the mantra is, my voice is sacred fire. Every word is a flame of remembrance. Every breath fans the flame of truth. Every silence prepares the altar for sacred sound. I do not perform. I remember. I realign. I restore. Okay, so that's your mantra for the next, however long you want to say that mantra. The seal is, the flame speaks. The soul remembers. The world realigns. Powerful. That's hilarious. So your journal prompts are, what part of my voice have I hidden or held back? What would it feel like to speak from the flame, instead of fear? Where in my body do I resist sound? What might that reveal? What does my oversoul desire to express through me right now? What roles have I played to keep my voice small and or acceptable? And where does performance end and truth begin? So some pretty awesome journal prompts in that book, in that guide, completely free in the free Temple of Light group on the website, Anshara'El, Anshara'El. If I say Anshara'El, the system thinks I'm saying it with an O. Anshara'El. And then it might pick it up as an A. That's funny. That's hilarious. So how are you doing? Are you good? How was that? Are you going to go check out the journal? You're going to get your journal prompts? I like asking everybody how they're doing at the end of it. Oh, hang on. We're getting a phone call. Oh, you know what? I'm going to let you guys go. No, I'm just kidding. Just give me 1 second. I'll message him and let him know. I'm going to call him back. I'm going to close down the show, though. Oh. There. I told him I'll call him right back. I do want to talk to him. He was gone. He was gone camping all weekend. So I love you guys. But it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to bounce. 3-3, we have, like we're carrying nice and strong with numbers today, which is nice. Do go and check out Anshara'El. And if you're interested in either of the Bridge to Light Phase 2 or the CARES, which is Christic Elemental Harmonic Restoration System, if you're interested in either of those education programs, go check them out on the website, fill out the application, and if you need a scholarship, fill out the scholarship form as well, and know that it's about an energetic exchange. So it's what can you exchange to me in whatever way that is aligned with the offer that I'm giving to you. So it's an awesome opportunity, and this is the way that it should be. I absolutely love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday and Wednesday, and I will see you on Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for our next live. Love you. Have a beautiful day. Go join the free group. It's really, really beautiful. And join some of the paid groups too, for sure. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, we get noises at the end of the live on TikTok now. Interesting. All right. Love you. Bye.